It's really a privilege and honor, and it just feels great to be up here tonight in front of you all to introduce Andrew Hampson, or as we know him, Hamps. Hamps is a local product out of Catonsville, went to Boys Latin School, had a very good career there, but followed the Go West young man theme and went off to school at the University of Arizona. Rocco Vecchio, who was and is one of my coaches, came to me and said, listen, Hamps, I think he's getting a little homesick and wants to come back to Baltimore. And Rocco went way back with Hamps. Knew him in grade school. Rocco's son Josh and Hamps were classmates. Rocco coached him in football and said, look, this kid has talent. He's got a big heart. He's confident. He's coachable. It's everything we're looking for in a goalkeeper. So Ham comes by for a visit and shows up and had the Stetson on, and I think he had a pretty good looking beard there for a while. And I'm saying, well, you know, Rocco, I trust Rocco. Ham wasn't quite what I had perceived. So Ham transfers in, and he comes in mid-year. And back in those days, we wore gray sweats. And so all the guys from the team in the fall got their gray sweats, and we practiced up on the grass field. So over the course of, you know, the practices, those sweats began to get a little dirty and washed, and they weren't the bright gray that they were. So now we start spring ball, and here comes Hamp, and he's got a brand new set of these grayish white sweats. Back then we wore a white helmet. And he comes out, and we were all saying, you know, he looks just like the Michelin Man. And, so he's out there, and you know, a little bit behind the rest of the group on the conditioning part. We can always take care of that. And but he got in there and he did a nice job. We had some other goalkeepers, and Hamp just, you know, he had the talent and had quick hands and just really stepped up, and towards the end of that season became our starter. So comes back over the summer, and you know, he's getting there, but he's still not in prime shape. And you know, it's funny how things work out. You always take a negative and you turn it into a positive. So that year we only had a couple goalkeepers, and one was a younger goalkeeper named Steve Kuza. And one day Steve comes to me and his hand's in a sling, and he broke his hand. So now we have one goalkeeper. So we had to figure out how are we going to go full field. And they're going to run up and down the field, but we only have one goalkeeper. So we came up with this idea where when we faced off, Hamp, our one goalkeeper, would stand in the penalty box right in the midfield. And the other guys would play, no goalies. And the rule was that the team that got the face-off, if they could get a fast break and score a goal, go for it. But if they couldn't, then they had to settle it, and Andrew had to run down and get in that goal. So now he's in the one goal, and again, the rule is that if the other team gets the ball, they can try to push it up the field, which really helped our transition, because they knew, hey, there's no goalie down there, so if we push the ball, we're going to get an easy goal. And we always played for running and you know, competition. So it really helped us push the ball, but it also helped us get back on defense. So then, if there was no break, Hamps had to run down to the other end of the field and hop in that goal. He lost about 30 pounds. And now we were getting into the fighting shape. But you know, that was the beginning, and it was, you know, a little laughter there. But after that, Hamps just really proved himself to be one of the great goalkeepers. His sophomore year, we went 9-3. Junior year, 9-5, and the senior year, 11-4. In '98, in the final game of the regular season, #1 Maryland comes into the UMBC Stadium complex, and I think we're ranked number 18. And all week long, you know, Maryland's saying, well, you know, UMBC's had a nice year, but unfortunately it's going to end today. And our guys went out, and we beat Maryland 12-8. And Hamps was just unbelievable in the goal, unbelievable, and he was just a wall. So that puts UMBC in the first ever Division I NCAA tournament. Next year we come back, and we're having a good year, and now we have to go down to College Park, and you know they're waiting for us. Well, we go down there, and again, we just played well, but in the fourth quarter, Maryland threw everything they had at us. I mean, everything. And I swear, Andrew had 15 saves in the fourth quarter. We beat Maryland, and we knocked them out of the NCAA tournament. So, Hamps, terrific goalkeeper, but he'll be the first to tell you that he was surrounded by excellent teammates. A lot of you are here tonight. Very unassuming, but very, very effective. Goalies, goalkeeper is the toughest position to play on the lacrosse field, by far. They're a special breed, they're courageous, they're talented, they're daring, and they're willing to lay it out on the line. It reminds me of the movie The Right Stuff. You know, compare goalies to the astronauts in The Right Stuff. And I remember the one scene, it's one of my favorite movies, in The Right Stuff, where they're celebrating the astronauts in Houston. They have this big party, and they're really just laying it all out for the astronauts, who were the best pilots in the world. And I remember they were playing Claire Moon, and the astronauts were looking at one another and just making eye contact, and they were all thinking about, boy, how wonderful it is. But the one person that wasn't there, that wasn't an astronaut, was Chuck Yeager. And all those guys knew, as much as they were being celebrated, and as famous as they were, the best guy out there was Chuck Yeager. Well, Andrew Hampson is our Chuck Yeager. There's a fraternity among goalies that it's hard to describe. Last night we had our face-off, and Andrew was there, and I was so pleased that our current goalies, when the face-off was over, rushed up to introduce themselves and meet Andrew. That just shows me the respect that they have for one another. And also here tonight is Tommy Sears. Tommy Sears is one of the legendary goalkeepers that ever played the game. He and Hamps became friends. Tommy called me and said, listen, I need someone to come over and do some piecework, and Andrew volunteered. They went over there. Andrew and Tommy immediately hit it off and became friends, hunting and fishing partners to this day. Family. I am so pleased for Andrew's parents, Mary Jane and Jim, sisters Lonnie and Stacy, here tonight. He and his wife Suzanne, Suzanne's parents, they have 3 boys, another's on the way. Andrew has continued to be successful, a good family man, a good father, a good son, a good husband. He's a terrific man, right? And well-deserving, so well-deserving of this award. So it makes me so happy to present for induction to the UMBC Athletic Hall of Fame, Andrew Hampson.
Thank you, Tim. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this honor tonight. And while I was thinking about what to say tonight, a word came to mind: pioneer. You know, our team back in the day was a pioneer. I grew up in Catonsville, and UMBC lacrosse back in the day was considered, you know, an automatic W on the opposing team's schedule. You know, they were the satellite school of University of Maryland. They were, you know, go on and on. You know, UMBC lacrosse wasn't what it is today. You know, our team paved the way for what it is. When you see our team, we weren't flashy, we weren't the biggest, we weren't the fastest team, but we were a team on a mission. We were a team on a mission to put UMBC on the map. Jim said a lot of this, so I'm going to repeat it. But Jim, you know, our junior and senior year, we were the first team ever to go to the Division I playoffs. In doing so by beating top 10 teams. So were we pioneers? Absolutely. we put UMBC Division I lacrosse on the map, in my opinion, our team. Last night I attended the lacrosse face-off, as Zim mentioned. Dr. Bowski was there speaking, and he made a point of talking about passion and dedication. Well, I'm talking about the coach, Rocco Vicchio, immediately came to my mind. In January 1996, Rocco fell off a roof, and there was a chance he wouldn't walk again. Well, I think about a month later, 2 months later, he was sitting on the sidelines and cheering us on. That's dedication and passion. He exemplifies passion. Ed Stevenson, better known as Duke, our partner. Couldn't be here tonight. He's running a new program up in Lowell, Massachusetts. He's a defensive mastermind. He was always breaking down the greatest offenses. Ed had a blue-collar work ethic. He was always getting the absolute best out of every person. So much of our success came from our recruiting. He was great at finding great athletes and turning them into great lacrosse players. Like Zim mentioned, in the fall of '95, I went out to University of Arizona, quickly realizing I was a little homesick. So my parents were talking to Rocco, like Zim mentioned, and lo and behold, I got a phone call from the Don Zimmerman. That's big news. So my goal in life was to play, when I was a little kid, was to play football for Joe Turner at Penn State, and then switch over and play lacrosse at Johns Hopkins under Don Zimmerman. That was my goal. If I could do that, life is good. Well, my dream did come true. All I want to say is thank you for taking the chance and sticking with me. And I'm sure your head was scratching when you saw me come out in that field in size medium, stuffed in those size medium sweatpants. They were tight. So thank you, Zim, for giving me the opportunity to play under you and the fulfillment of one of my dreams. Thank you. None of this would be possible without my parents. The dedication that my parents had for the game was truly awesome. From the time I was a little kid, running me to practices, games, clinics, all the way through college, never missing a scrimmage, a game anywhere up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Thank you, Mom and Dad. You don't know how much that meant to me. So again, thank you for this honor. And thank you to my teammates for not being here today without you guys. And congratulations to all the inductees here. And I also wanted to thank my friends and family for coming out tonight and supporting me through the years. I love you guys. Thank you.